Hi there. So this is the video that I said I was going to do. I've now since done the trip down to the southeast, and I've done it back again. Now on the ride down, I tried to stick as much as possible to around 55-60 miles per hour on the motorways. Now what I've found, especially if I got a truck doing a similar speed, is the most I got in terms of the range was about 112 miles. Now, as I say, that was sitting behind basically a truck acting as a windbreak, and got to the charging with, I think it was 2% battery left, so I timed that one quite well, and then I ended up charging for around about an hour and a half. So I left on the Saturday morning. It was at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I got to my destination roughly 7:30 in the evening. And as I say, that was being disciplined. It was riding at, let's say, a constant indicated 60 on the dashboard, and where possible, I was basically tailgating Arctics and using them to cut through a lot of the air to minimise the air resistance. And on the way back, I tried riding at 70 mile an hour, and following my partner in the car for a peek at that to see if the car would have a similar impact. If I'm honest, I can't actually remember what sort of mileage I gave. I think it was approximately 100, sort of 90 to 100 miles where I had to then charge it. And let's say the first two charging stops I had to do on the way back both were approximately an hour and 20 minutes. The third one, for some reason, I don't know why, it was somewhere in the region of 2 hours, and it took me roughly 11 and a half hours, something like that, to get back. It was, yeah, so both trips, they were long trips, and what I found is using it on the motorway, it is the case that, it doesn't really make much difference whether you sort of do the 60 or whether you're doing 75. The battery didn't last obviously as long, but that's, to be expected. So the question, can you ride 300, well actually it turned out to be on the way down, 311 miles in a day? Yes you can. I think the real question is, should you? Because although half the time you're not actually on the bike, it is still a tiring journey because it is a lot of waiting around. What I've learned from this is to not use it on a motorway. Basically, it sounds kind of obvious and it sounds kind of dumb. This isn't what the bike is built for at the end of the day, and it is very much reflected that. What I did find a lot of, every time I stopped, I always got the same question: what's the range on one of those? And like I said to them, it is approximately 100 miles on the motorway, depending on how you're riding it. So it can range from sort of between 90 to 110 miles. And that was most of the time, that was the first question. The next question was, how long is the charging? And I found it to be, even though it starts off saying, and the clock counts down at about just shy of an hour, as it gets towards the end, it does slow down, and it is more like an hour and 20 minutes. So, yeah. But the one thing I did finally get to test, unfortunately footage was lost, so put it into sport mode, and actually managed to test it on a nice open piece of road, sticking to the speed limits, and that was certainly fun. The torque that it puts out is so addictive, and you really did have to hold on to the handlebars because it wanted to throw you off if you weren't careful. The other thing we did is I did ride with my partner on pillion. Again, having the extra weight will eat the battery. Obviously, any extra weight on any vehicle is going to impact your range, arguably more so on the motorcycle. But other than that, I found it to be a very capable 2-up motorcycle. It's done a blinding job, to be fair, and my partner absolutely loved it. Let's see what else. The overall, the bike, it's the charging is the big elephant in the room. There's no denying that. So going back to that question, should you? It's a tricky one, in all fairness. I don't know. If you've got to do it, you can do it, but you've got to be prepared for a long day. I'll tell you one thing, you won't be doing an iron butt challenge on one of these, that's for sure. Not unless they can get the charging times sorted out. Apart from that, as I say, having it on cruise control did leave you able to rest your hands, so you can just ride when resting your throttle hands, which was quite good. I'm just going at that slower speed as well. It was quite pleasant, to be fair. But I think we'll have to go back to can you ride the motorcycle 300 miles in a day? The answer is yes, you can. Unfortunately, the way the infrastructure is at the minute, you've got to be careful how you plan the route, because if you don't put in the right charger, which is the Type 2 charger, you could find yourself running out of power and not being able to charge somewhere. So, but at the end of the day, it's what you want from a motorcycle, whether you want to do it or not. But as I say, when you're not doing stupid things like this and you are using it for what it's meant to, the off-road twisties and whatever, you get good range and the performance is second to none. There's no denying that. So arguably, would I have had more fun on a petrol bike? Probably would have had the same fun. I don't really see. Once you're moving, I don't think there's much difference really. It's just that charging. That's the only bugbear I've got at the moment with it. But we will see. Anyway, this is just sort of a short video explaining and my experiences on the bike. This isn't a biased video or anything. It's just an honest owner's point of view. At the end of the day, I'm not telling you, go and buy one of these. Do what you want. It's just me documenting my exploits on the Zero, and we will see what else I can think up of doing next. Obviously, work and studies permitting. But I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear feedback. And if you've got any other suggestions that I might have a look at doing, then all for go for it. Let's see what happens. But we'll see whether or not I've made a mistake on this bike. But so far, it's okay. So the long journeys isn't really that great. But so far, it's been fun. And the missus loves it, in all fairness. And for the commuting side of it, you can't argue with that. And the fact that I can just plug it in overnight, it's ready to go the next morning, no messing around, straight on, off I go. It's things like that. But anyway, like I say, if there's any questions you've got about it, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Please do get in touch, and hopefully, I'm going to try and get a bit more regular, but obviously working and studying is taking a big part of my life at the minute. So I'll see what I can do and when I can get it done for you. Thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.